Hello and welcome to the Playlist Podcast with me, Gemma Root. Jack will be back the next few episodes, hopefully, after he's settled into his. But for this week, we are joined by another special guest, Kate McCabe. Hello, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So for the listeners that probably haven't heard of you, would you like to give yourself a little introduction?
Yes, my name is Kate McCabe. I'm a musician based in Glasgow, and I've just been cutting about for the last couple years, trying to put music out and gig about, and yeah, that's who I am. You can find me on all social media platforms at Kate McCabe or Kate McCabe Music.
So who would you say are your musical inspirations?
Oh, hitting me hard with the tough questions. I feel like I'm inspired by a lot of people, but I'm probably more so. I really like Jackson Browne. My mum introduced me to him when I was quite young. One of my favourite songs ever is "Fountain of Sorrow" by him. So he's definitely inspired me. He's quite country. I feel like I can be quite country sometimes, with the kind of style of songs that I write. I really like Julie Fowlis, who is a Scottish singer, songwriter. She mostly does songs in Gaelic and things, and I don't do that. But I really love the Scottish elements to her music, which I'm kind of trying to adopt more now. When I was younger, I used to kind of sing in a kind of more Americanized style, which I don't really like to do anymore. I'm kind of trying to get into just singing in my actual accent and stuff like that. So yeah, Julie Fowlis is a huge inspiration as well. But there's so many. Right now I feel like I'm kind of adopting a little bit of a Phoebe Bridgers vibe, but Scottish. So yeah, but the list goes on. There's so many people.
So you saying about your mum introducing you to some of your inspirations, was that one of the reasons why you decided to do a career in
it? Subconsciously, probably, yeah. I never really thought about it. I feel like doing music has kind of just always been in the back of my head, but yeah, my mum was really, really into music. She's a big music lover, and my dad used to be in a band, and he was a songwriter and wrote songs, and he kind of still dabbles, but he kind of got me into the whole production side of things as well, which is kind of cool. And then my stepdad has always been into music too, so it's just always been something that's been a part of my family and my upbringing. But I'm actually not as much of a music lover as my family are. I feel like, which is a bit weird, but I definitely they are probably why I kind of started it.
So you said that your dad dabbles in a bit of music writing. Do you take influence from him? Have you learned particular styles of how to write songs from him?
I don't know. I mean, I've actually not really ever heard a lot of what he used to do. He was part of a band when he was younger, and then now kind of he just produces kind of for fun, but I think he also does some stuff for friends if they ask for things. I think he produced a theme tune for a podcast or something for one of his friends recently, which I got to listen to, and it was really good. But he's very much into synth stuff. He's heavy on the synths. He loves a good synth, and I'm not really. I don't mind synth. I like a synth, but I don't really know how to kind of play or produce it. But he's not. I feel like I've probably not been inspired in my writing so much as I have been in just he kind of shows me the ropes of what to do, and then I do it, but kind of just go for it on my own kind of thing. Yeah, because I think we're quite different in what we come up with and write. I don't know. He bought me a lot of my equipment and stuff, like for birthday presents and Christmas presents, and shows me how to use it. But that's probably the extent.
So what's your writing style like then? Because we've spoken to a lot of musicians recently, and they've all got really interesting ways of how they write music.
Mm-hmm.
Like some people will use like some of them kind of like more theoretical, so they'll do it from what they've learned through textbooks and things like that. What's your way?
I feel like I've written in a lot of different ways because I started writing songs like from when I was like 10, just kind of, obviously they're not good. Still have some of them, but like, and I at that age I didn't play any instruments apart from the violin, and I didn't know how to kind of write songs to the violin. But I would write these lyrics. So for me, my process has always been with the lyrics. I love writing lyrics. That's my favourite part of it. And then I picked up the guitar probably when I was first year of high school or something. So I don't know, like 11, 12? I don't know what age you are when you start high school. I forget. But yes, first year of high school, I picked up the guitar and I kind of just learned how to play it myself before getting lessons and things. And then I adopted it as one of my instruments as I went into like music and doing that. But yeah, I kind of taught myself all of the kind of basic chords that you need to know. And then I would take all these lyrics that I wrote and kind of just come up with like a chord progression, and then a melody would kind of just comes to me. I feel like I'm not actually working to get anything. It just kind of comes out. So it's always been quite a natural thing. And then I went to uni and I did music, and we did and I've been on like songwriting camps with other musicians and collaboration and things like that. And loads of people they come to you and they're like, they write in a totally different way. And sometimes like if people are stumped, that I learned if you're stumped, they have this thing where you write down just words and then you kind of like pick a few and then from those words write a song. But that's just never been something I've needed to do because it's just always I come up with a chord progression and then a melody and words just flow out. So I don't know if that's a boring answer or not, but that's just how it happens. It just comes naturally, yeah. Oh. There are techniques and things that, I've learned through songwriting workshops and collaborating with other songwriters that have, honed the kind of natural ability and made it, more. I've progressed with it. So like there's ways in which I can become a better songwriter through techniques and things, like knowing what genres kind of use, what patterns like A, B, like bridge, chorus, kind of like verse, that kind of thing, knowing when to put what at what point, rather than it just being a big kind of spiel. So yeah, but that's kind of my process, I suppose. But it always changes.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how musicians that we've had on and you have all got different ways of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really great. So you released your latest single in March.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us a bit about the song?
Yeah, it's called To Do With a Guy, and it actually came about because of this fireplace behind me. There's like these two little kind of figures on each side. One's of like a knight. I thought you looked like kind of like a knight, and then the other one was this woman. And then I immediately jumped to like Fair Maiden in the Night and like that kind of concept. And then I started writing this kind of song I kind of call it a tale as old as time. Obviously, it's like, but it kind of came about from. It's always like a love story, kind of one night stand. Like women are always, or generally, I'm not talking talking across the board, but generally speaking, I feel like one person in a relationship, whether it's the man, woman, whatever, is always left a little bit defeated with after a one night stand, because I don't know, or after a relationship that lasted longer than a night. Who knows? It doesn't matter the time scale, but one person I feel like is always left a little bit more defeated than the other, and it's something to do with the guy, like it's always got something to do with him. So that's kind of where it came from. Speaking from personal experience, and kind of putting a little quirky spin on it, I suppose. But yeah, I think that's kind of like the gist of the song. But people can take it how they take it. It's up for interpretation.
Yeah, it does seem like it's doing pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it's going good, I think. I've not really been looking and keeping up with it, but I feel it's been played on a few radio stations, and I'm getting good feedback from it. And I released a music video on my YouTube channel, and that seems to be people quite like it. So all in all, I'm pretty happy. I think it's a really good song. It's one of my favourite songs I've recorded and written. And it's just a little ditty song. It's just a wee short one. So, and my kind of goal with it was to kind of make it quite summer, like a summer vibe, happy. And I kind of also wanted it to be a bit, Celtic and like Scottish and, that kind of style. But I recorded it all on my own, all on my lonesome. And then I had a wee hand at producing it, but I ended up sending it to a producer that I know who produced my other two singles that came out last year. So he did it and made it sound exactly the way I wanted it to. So, yeah.
Brilliant. Have you got any plans then for releasing an album at any point?
Yeah, I do. I've actually got like a lot of ideas churning in my head, but the main one right now is that to do with a guy. And then I released a song last year called Ode to a Town. But those two singles, my plan is I've got a lot of songs that I hope to, once I've released a few singles, then at the end release an album that they will all be a part of. Yeah. And that's the plan at the moment as it stands, and hopefully it happens. But yeah, I'm kind of working away in the background. I'm kind of doing it a wee bit unconventionally. Like I don't actually have every single song recorded right now, but I have them all written, and some of them I've had for a while. Some of them I've kind of just recently come up with. But yeah, I think it will be good. I think it will be a good chill. I feel like the album's going to be quite chill. And very melodic and just nice. I hope it will kind of be quite nostalgic and also a little bit, I don't know. It's going to be good, I think.
Have you got any plans then to for live gigs? I've seen on your Twitter that you're doing a show in May.
Yeah, so my next show is the 7th of May. I'm supporting Silver Heart at Room 2 in Glasgow on the 7th of May, and we're just trying to sell tickets so people will come to it. So if you're in Glasgow on the 7th of May, feel free to come. You can get tickets via my website or any of my social medias. Yeah, it's going to be a good night, I think. Also, I'm trying to remember who else is going to be there. Let me just see. Because the lineup got changed. But
we've had Silverhara on before, so it sounds like it's going to be a really good gig.
Yeah, it will be really good. Matchbox Oceans will be there, and then You Are Lost, Be Careful will be there too. So I think it will be a really good gig, and then I've got some things kind of mulling over hopefully get some gigs in at the summer and stuff, but
Yeah.
as of now, my next confirmed gig will be the 18th of September for the Speakeasy Volume 2 Festival. So that will be really good as well. But all of my live shows are listed on my website, katemccabemusic.com.
Brilliant. So are you saying about you doing a festival then?
Yeah.
Have you done gigs before at festivals?
I've done a few festivals. Yeah, I've played. I used to play quite a lot at a festival called Hangerfest, which is like a local, like my hometown, Straven, would put it on every summer. I've played that, and then I was a part of Pandora Fest a few years ago. I'm not sure if they're still running or not, but it was an all-female or female-fronted festival, and it was really cool. So I hope they're still going. But that was a cool festival to be a part of. And then other than that, I've kind of just done gigs around Glasgow, mainly supporting people. So hopefully I'll be headlining soon.
Have you got any? Would you like to do like shows across the UK?
Yeah, I've actually played a show in Rome. I think it was 2016.
Oh.
Maybe, or 17. But it was part of my university. Like I won I can't remember what it's called. It was like the Euro contest or something. But it was like heats, and we had to like compete against other musicians, and then a few of us won and got sent out to different countries in Europe. So I got to go to Italy and play a gig in Rome, and it was really cool. And then I played, when was it? February there. I was down in London playing the Water Rats, supporting Lottie. So that was a good experience as well. So I'd love to continue to kind of, play gigs around and about.
Yes. So a question that we ask a lot of our musicians, what advice would you give to if any of our listeners are thinking about starting a music career?
Keep going. If you know you want to do it, it doesn't matter how many people like say no, or how many, people aren't listening to you, or it feels that way sometimes. You just got to kind of keep going, and the people who are meant to find you and hear you will, I think. And put in the work. It's hard, especially now. Like there's so many people trying to make it and trying to, it's such a kind of self-run industry almost. Like anyone can release stuff, anyone can do it. So yeah, you kind of just have to kind of push on through it all and work to the best of your ability. And have fun doing it. Make sure you love it, and if you love it, it'll be the best thing you ever do.
Yeah, we've noticed that there's been like an influx of independent musicians since the first lockdown.
Mhm.
I think that's kind of forced people to enjoy music more and to find their passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying about there being a lot of musicians out there.
Yeah, and it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing at all. It's amazing that there's so many people doing what they want to do, and just make sure, just doing what you love and kind of doing it for you and not for success,
Kind of like escapism, really.
Yeah.
So one final question then. Where do you see yourself in, say, 5 years?
Hopefully with a couple, maybe I'm gonna be realistic and say I'll have 2 albums out for sure. I'll hopefully be working as not only a musician and an artist, but a producer as well. I'd love to start producing other people. I'm so not there right now, but in 5 years, I hope so. And yeah, just keeping on doing what I'm doing, and hopefully get a tour in at some point, gigging more, and yeah, that's kind of just doing what I'm doing, right? Keeping on writing, keeping on recording, keeping on.
Yes. It's kind of like learning on the job, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
So thank you for coming on, Kate.
Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
And for all of our listeners out there, where can we catch your music?
I'm on Spotify, iTunes, Deezer. I think I'm on Amazon Music as well, and YouTube. All at Kate McCabe. At Kate McCabe. And then I've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. at Kate McCabe or at Kate McCabe Music. And everything. You can find me everywhere on my website, which is katemccabemusic.com.
Brilliant, thank you. And for our listeners for today's episode, thank you for listening. And hopefully myself and Jack will see you on our next episode. Thank you and goodbye.